At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
The Force will be with you.
At last we will have revenge.
Obi-Wan never told you.
So be it.
So be it. Everybody, welcome to the first episode, the pilot episode of The Darth Jedi. I am your host, the Blind Jedi, and joining me, as always, is my dark side apprentice slash co-host slash Darth Whistler.
Apprentice.
I wanted to throw that in there at you. You like that?
He's an apprentice.
He's an apprentice. Everybody, man, thank you for being right here on Theory of a Blind Man, watching the pilot episode
I'm
of
stoked.
The Blind Jedi. Yes, dude. We've been waiting to do this forever.
Yeah, right?
But it's finally here. The Force has finally moved. It's motivated us. It got us off our dairy airs, and we're finally putting out our Star Wars content. Tonight, we are airing the pilot episode on Theory of a Blind Man, but we want
Why?
you to make Why is that?
Why is that? Looks like
Yeah,
someone
it was me.
someone needs a new master.
Yeah, it was me. Yeah, so I set up the Blind Jedi channel, but I forgot to activate the live stream option, so we have to wait 24 hours. But nevertheless, this is a perfect opportunity for us to encourage you all, if you guys are Star Wars fans and want to continue watching this show moving forward, to check it out here, the pilot episode, but go over to the Blind Jedi YouTube channel, where this will be aired every Saturday evening. By the way, Darth, did you put the link in the description box?
The link is in the description box below.
So there you go. Make it nice and easy for you guys. The link to the Blind Jedi channel is in the description box. You guys can go down there, smack that button, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you be notified every time that we go live with a new Star Wars show.
Yes. Not my real name. Welcome and thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I had a question. This is going to be pretty much like the pilot episode, so I don't think we really have all that much of direction, but we have a really cool topic.
We have a couple of cool topics, I believe.
A couple of cool topics. And just so everybody knows, the Blind Jedi here is pretty much the expert of Star Wars as far as us two goes. He knows all the canon stuff way more than I do. I have a fair amount of knowledge of the EU, the extended universe. So yeah, I'm pretty much, like he said, the apprentice.
It's the Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I'm standing like a New Yorker now. You know what I'm saying? It's the quarantine's getting to me, guys. All right, now, so anyway, this is going to be Star Wars brought to you from a blind perspective. Yes, we are two blind men, hence the word the Blind Jedi. I guess blindness is not in your name, but actually Whistler is actually blinder than I am, so
that's true.
Technically, so
I am.
I do have some usable vision, but it's the theory of Star Wars from two blind men, and
you
guys
go.
will learn how we navigate Star Wars, how we learn about Star Wars, how we get our opinions about Star Wars, and our point of views. We look at things obviously differently. We're not so much on the visuals as we are on the content, the storytelling, writing, things like that. Character development, all that fun stuff.
What did Natty Wet Pleasure call it? Theories of two blind Jedis or something like that?
That's actually a pretty good one too, though. Theories of two blind Jedis. Except that, so the idea too, let's go ahead and explain the title since it's the pilot episode. You guys, the Darth Jedi is basically, if to all my Star Wars soulmates out there, the gray order, the gray Jedi, the balance of the Force, a bit of dark, bit of light. That's what we consider ourselves. And on this show, Darth Whistler obviously represents the dark. I represent the light, but together we are balanced.
I even got my two lightsabers up behind me just so you guys recognize the red.
Just recognize. I think we have to make something else new like that, but we could have one red, one blue.
Yeah, I guess
Or
so.
one red, one green, but then we're going to look like Christmas every time we do a show. So it should probably be red and blue.
Do you like the green sabers?
I do like the green saber.
Honestly,
blue is my favorite.
When I envision you as a person in general, I really do picture the yellow or gold saber.
Interesting.
Because in my mind, the gold / yellow saber is more of, I envision it as more of the ascended or the more enlightened Jedi Order. I think the gold is referring to the Guardians.
Yes.
So I guess that's why I see it. Like when it comes down to it, you really speak about the spiritual side of things, not religious, but the spiritual side of things and living your life that way. So that's what it really reminds me of. So you should do gold.
That might be something because the idea is, I grew up obviously original trilogy guy, and just my current life situation. It's not a story about me, but basically Luke Skywalker was the one that I turned to for inspiration.
Yeah.
To me, he's still the perfect example of the dark and the light, and he found a balance and was able to bring his father back from the dark side. So
and he had blue and green, right?
And he had blue and green because he started off with his dad's saber. He started off with Anakin's saber, and he ended up having to build his own. However, I could see me taking on that persona, but having built it. Basically, I got to become a Jedi at some point, a master Jedi, and build my own lightsaber.
Yeah.
And have my own kyber crystal that turns my color, and maybe gold or yellow would be that color it is. So
get on it.
Put that on the burner.
Yep. I mean, how are you going to go get a kyber crystal with a quarantine? So, you can't Amazon that stuff. I almost slipped.
You're good. You're good. This is not, I want this show to be family friendly, but the reason we started the Blind Jedi channel is so we could slip.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to be ourselves, right? So, so, we really hope that you guys like this. Share it to the people, even if you're not a Star Wars fan. Maybe you know a Star Wars fan out there and they like to find content and just join the conversation, as I like to say. Just have them come find the Blind Jedi channel. You could always lead them right here to this episode, the pilot episode right here on Theory of a Blind Man. Have them follow us. We're excited to get this thing going.
And I really like how Jason here has laid out the segments. I really look forward to the ending segments, which will always be called Join the Conversation.
Yes.
I really enjoy that. And we got, I hope I have that video. Shoot balls.
I really hope you have it too, because that's the point. But that's why we're calling this the pilot episode. We have to knock off the rust, so even if you have to go find it, it's just...
I think it's, I mean, I sent it to you, right, in Dropbox, so I've got it.
Yeah.
I'll just have to pull it out.
As, as one person once said, I like to use other people's channels to work out the kinks anyway, so we got the pilot
There we go.
episode.
Yeah.
Here, so,
No better place
why
than do a
not?
Theory of the Blind Man.
Yeah.
Blind Guy Show says, what up, peeps?
Blind Guy Show's in the house. What's up, Greg? How are you, my brother?
Oh, not my real name subbed to the Blind Jedi already. Awesome.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. Not my real name. Aussie.
Connie. Oh, oi, oi, oi. Connie George is here. Hi, Greenheart.
How are you, Connie?
Thanks for the message, Connie. I did get it, but obviously, with everything going on, it's kind of particulated in my mind. What color saber do you think I would have? Asks not my real name. I envision amber.
Yes. Or purple.
Or purple.
Yes.
Yeah. I could see a purple lightsaber. Beyond Sight is here.
Instead of riding on the back of a dewback, you'd be riding on the back of a kangaroo. That'd be pretty badass.
Did I ever
in Star Wars?
Did I ever tell you what I have her name as in my phone for Signal?
I don't think you did.
It's something and kangaroos.
I think I heard you say it before, but not about it. You're being in your phone, but yeah. I think
Yeah, I'll tell you off air because this is now a family friendly show. So
for the most part, yes, we're trying to be family friendly.
yeah,
We'll see
I'm
how
gonna
that
try.
goes.
I'm gonna try really hard to control the dark side of the Force.
See, the light side aura that I put out is already starting to work on the Darth one over there. So.
Fucking A. Beyond Sight says.
Classic.
Beyond Sight's here, and he says, "Did you know that I don't care? Honestly, we're not talking about that, but I will address it. Did you know that Windows XP narrator was a lot different than it is today? Honestly, don't care.
Windows.
Wait, it said 7, but I only got 3. That's weird. If you guys would do me a favor, if you're watching this, you'll get a lot more interaction if you are watching this on YouTube. So you can find youtube.com/c/Theory of a Blind Man, and that's where we'll be able to get all your comments for sure. For sure, dude. How's that inner rim doing there, Jason?
I don't know. I'm having struggles. My interim is my voiceover decided to take us off. There we go. And instead of kicking me, not only just kicked me out of chat, it literally kicked Google out. So okay, but I'm back. So let me see if I fixed it.
Didn't know you were gone. So did you hear anything I said about Beyond Sight?
About the Windows.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Oh,
So I'm trying to get
Adine.
into.
Adine is here and she says, "Greetings, Diaglet." Not my real name. That's funny. Oh, hey, yes. Crazy Blind Man is here. Welcome, but he's watching on Facebook. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so, you there?
Yep, I'm just trying to catch up with the chat as you addressed them. So I finally got the voiceover to work properly, got into the web content, and I'm finally in the chat. So,
Cool.
without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our nice, juicy first segment.
That's what she said.
Yes, what she said. See, I gotta always put the dark. See, the Darth one brings the darkness out of me just as much as I bring the lightness out of him. That's why we're the perfect match. Just saying.
Oh, really quick,
just
not my real
saying.
name. Just, however, not my real name has to go. It's already Easter Sunday. That's right. She's in the future. So she has to go make lunch and all that stuff. So thank you for coming in.
Easter, not my real name.
I didn't even know it was Easter weekend this weekend.
You didn't? Well,
I thought it was always the third Sunday in April.
Oh, it changes all the time. It's just not the same. Sometimes you get Easter in March.
What? When?
A couple of years ago it was in March. It was like on March. Well, actually 3 years ago it was in March. And then the year before that, it was like on April 1st. On April Fool's Day, there was Easter.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I can't remember how exactly they do the math and figure that out, but yeah, it changes all the time.
Who cares about Easter anyway?
I do.
Bunnies are only good for eating, and rabbit's feet. Lucky rabbit's foot. Paint it
All
green.
right, guys. Our first topic of the pilot episode of the Darth Jedi is about the Obi-Wan Disney Plus TV series.
Yes.
For all those who don't know, this has been something that's been circling around the interwebs for a few years. Even since Disney first started mentioning they were going to put out movies, everybody wanted an Obi-Wan movie. Everybody wanted a Boba Fett movie. nobody wanted a Solo movie. Just saying. Again, that word.
And again,
It's become a very addicting, and it's driving me nuts. But yeah,
it's inner city
So-
children's fault.
I know, right? So, Solo was a bomb for most people. I personally
enjoyed
like
it.
Solo.
Yeah.
I like Solo. But if you're talking about the fan base as a whole, Solo struggled.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of excuses and reasons why people didn't want to buy into Solo. One, it was the first time we saw a Han Solo character not played by Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And I know that's a struggle. It was a struggle for me the first time through.
Timing
Just because
too is
you have
horrible.
that Harrison Ford just embedded in your head. It's just
Yeah.
it's really hard to take Harrison Ford out of a character. But I thought he did a great job. Big shoes to fill, and he was playing a younger Han Solo, so I thought he did great.
Yeah. Who played him?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, exactly.
But on that note, it came off the heels of The Last Jedi, which we all know started the fan revolution. So
Yeah.
that played a big part in it as well. However, there's some people that like The Last Jedi, some people that don't. We're not here to talk about that. I'm just my point that I'm making is, for whatever reason, the sequels have not necessarily got a lot of love. Depending on who you follow, depending on your own personal take on the sequels, I like them. And, do I have my problems? Yeah, I do.
There's a pill for that.
But you have to take in consideration that art is made for the artist, and you have to respect at the same time what they present to you. Doesn't mean you have to love it, but respect the art that is being developed that we are taking in. And for me, there's a lot of great storytelling in the sequels. They just didn't mesh together.
No. That was the problem, I thought, too. Especially going from What's-His-Face to JJ. Or, I mean, from JJ to What's-His-Face and back to JJ.
To
The
Ryan.
name that won't be mentioned.
Yeah, I don't mind saying his name. I mean, he
That's okay, because I call JJ Jar Jar Abrams.
Jar Jar
so.
Abrams. Yeah, I know people
Yeah.
call him Jar Jar. But again, and then they had the other writer that they had to kick off, and then they brought JJ back, and the thing is that as a standalone movie, even though I'll get a lot of hate about The Last Jedi and me liking The Last Jedi, at first I didn't like it. I'm going to be honest with you. It took me a long time to really even listen to the novel and to just go over that movie several times before I understood where Ryan was taking it. And for me, I get the storytelling. That's one of our first conversations. I talked to you about how easy it is to understand how Luke could lose his mind like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very simple.
Yep.
He grew up without a father. Then he found out his father was a Dark Lord of the universe. And then he had to save his father, and he finally saved his father, but then his father died in his arms, and he had to go on, and he wasn't respected after that either. He had to leave out there, and once it came out that Leia was tied to it and Luke was tied to it, but they didn't want the Jedi anyway. They didn't want the Jedi.
Right.
So I could see where it all built up to him, and then he tried to build the order, and then it failed. I could get where he could be a hermit on an island. But I bring that all up to say is that some of the best Star Wars that Disney put out was some original content.
For example.
Rogue One.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. People are saying that's not totally original. That story. Yeah. The ending of that story was developed. The ending of that story, but the way they tied it all together and brought it all together in between the prequels and the original trilogy, I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
That Vader scene at the end, oh, man.
Amazing, right? And the way they tied it in all the way to where Leia got the map. So, again, that I thought that was great storytelling. I even liked especially if you read the book first.
Right.
If you read the book, it's slipping my mind. I should have did more research. This is why this is the pilot episode, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's Catalyst.
Yes.
So you read that book, like when I was sitting in the theaters and that rolling crawl came, which, and I had my little, and they read it to me. And then that opening scene, I was right into the movie. It's like I just put down the book and turned on the TV to watch the next chapter, man. It was awesome. So I was able to jump right into it and flow.
I didn't even think about that. Did they have? They've got the audio description for the crawl.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been missing out, man.
So this is something that I wanted to put out there because Disney knows how to tell stories. Not everybody agrees with that, right?
They've been doing it for 100 years.
There's a reason why it's a $1 trillion company, and it's a reason why they own pretty much Hollywood. You don't do that just because you got a bunch of money that people are donating. It's because they built that franchise up through their parks, through their cruises, through all their adventures and their movies and their cartoons. I mean, it's well known. So you're talking about though how they have Disney set up now, right? They have Disney Anime or just Disney in general. They got Pixar, they got Marvel, and Star Wars is its own brand identity. And there's an argument to be made about how Kathleen Kennedy in particular is running this company. And my biggest knock is she's indecisive.
Yeah, I'd like to run my double lightsaber through her. Wait, what? Oh, yeah.
She literally fires everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Okay,
you don't like my haircut? Psh, you're fired.
Rogue One, they had to bring in Tony Gilroy to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
They also had to bring in, for Solo, they had to bring in, I call him Richie Cunningham, but what's his real name?
Richie?
Ralph, what's his name?
Something like that.
I'm always stuck on Happy Days, dude. I can never
now you
get
threw
Happy
me
Days
off.
out of my days. But I know, sorry. I threw myself off because I always go to Happy Days, dude. Richie Cunningham. But they had to bring him in to finish it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They can never just stick with one person, one writer. And when The Mandalorian came out, nobody wanted that. Nobody was predicting a Mandalorian bounty hunter type TV series. Everybody was pounding the table for Boba Fett, and I thought it was the best move they ever did. Even when they put in the Baby Yoda, which I'm going to coin it here again. I'm going to be coining on every single show until everybody knows that I'm the one that came up with it first. He is the Yodalorian. I thought they did that brilliantly. I have a problem with that. We can when we actually get into some Mandalorian talk here in a few weeks, probably. I want to dive deep in that because I think there's a problem that can occur. I'm wondering how they're going to fix this problem. They're throwing a lot at this thing, but we'll talk about that next week. In fact,
they did #nail it with Mandalorian.
I loved it, dude. It's probably the best thing out of all of it. And I did like the sequels myself, and I did like Rogue One, and Solo sits well with me. It's a fun movie. Is it my all-time favorite? By all means, no. But The Mandalorian is true Star Wars, and it's amazing, amazing stuff.
Yep.
And I say all that long because I said, I know I started off the segment about Obi-Wan. We talked about everything but Obi-Wan.
But the segues, though, it's a good segue for the segue to talk about the segue of Kenobi. The opening, did you read the book Kenobi?
Yes.
Okay, so you know the opening part where he goes into the bar, blah, 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 the baby's there. It's a really cool segue to bring him to Tatooine and then tell the whole story of Kenobi. It's awesome.
So let's go ahead and dive into that because here's something that people have been banging the table for. If they ever said there was a movie that they wanted them to make, this was the top of most people's list, primarily because of Ewan McGregor.
Yep.
You have legitimately Obi-Wan himself, as we know him because of the prequels, right? This is the perfect setup. So this is one of those movies you start where you're not replacing an actor for an actor. You're not looking for that deep fake stuff. This is going to be the real deal. Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan, set in Tatooine. What did he do from the time that Luke landed there? He dropped Luke off up until, he meets Luke out in the canyons.
Yep.
There was a script for a movie, and I heard it was pretty good, but then Solo. That's why I talked about all that stuff before, right? The Last Jedi fallout, the Solo fallout, and I, for the most part, I believe the Rise of Skywalker brought more positive than negative, even though, I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. Won't do it. But there is some negativity. There's always going to be negativity because it's the world we live in with social media.
Right.
But The Rise of the Skywalker did bounce back from The Last Jedi. So
That's good.
Mandalorian on a high. So they said, you know what? Let's turn, because Mandalorian did so good. Everything was going well. Let's get away from the movie stuff. Let's go back to where we have more control. Let's go Obi-Wan as a Disney Plus TV series. And I thought it was the best decision they made since taking over Star Wars. Because when you take it and you put it into a TV show form, you have the opportunity to slow the story down.
And develop more stories within it. Like all these characters that they talk about in the book, you can go so far with it.
And if you feel like the response is going south, you have a whole season to bring it back up north.
Yeah.
And you can make changes on the fly, where once you put a whole storyline into a 2-hour movie, 2.5 hours if you're lucky, that's it. There you go. And there's not a whole lot of...
Or make a trilogy out of it.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's no way you can make a trilogy out of Obi-Wan. There's just no way. There's not enough time. Basically he drops Luke off. He's got, what,
16 years.
17 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time, but most of the time he's a baby. I mean, yeah, you could, there's the Maul stuff, but they covered that in Rebels. I don't want them to revisit the Maul stuff, because we've already seen it, even if it's in a cartoon form. It's already canonized. We don't need to see it in live action. We can leave that alone. So it's going to take place after that.
Yeah.
Or maybe before. You can do it before, too. So they had a writer, and Hossein Amini was a writer. Now, again, guys, not big on the writers or anything. I know Mark Thompson, who does the voice acting. I know certain names like that because I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I love what is her name? Gray. I'm forgetting first names. Her last name
Daisy.
Gray. Did Lost Stars. Yeah, and then there's the Thrawn novels that was written by. Man, what a time to have brain farts.
Yeah, I don't know too many of the authors. I know a lot of the people that read them on the audiobooks.
Well, because that's who tells us the stories. As blind people, that's what we're consuming.
Yeah.
So, again, Timothy Zahn. I know the names, guys. Just give me. I got to get into the flow here. It's been a while since we watched Star Wars. So Timothy Zahn wrote the Thrawn books. Claudia Gray. See, it's all coming back to me. I just want to let everybody know that I'm not stupid. So Claudia Gray.
Claudia Gray Order.
Claudia Gray Order. Claudia Gray and the Lost Stars, and she's a fabulous writer. But they had Hossein Amini, who I don't know enough about, but I know that he has a reputation. He was a good writer, and they let him go in January. That's when the first rumblings of problems going on in Obi-Wan. And Ewan McGregor, being a company man, he keeps saying, "Oh no, the scripts are great. They're just trying to take a movie and put it into a TV series, and we're going to be fine and we're going to be okay." And I'm like, no, once again, they took another person off the project.
Yeah.
Then I heard rumors that there's a lot more people trying to get on board and get their opinions in now because The Mandalorian was so good. And now they've got all these people trying to mess with the storyline. The confidence of Lucasfilm and the Star Wars brand is shot. It's shot. They bring in a guy, reportedly, Joby Harold, who's wrote some movie scripts. King Arthur. He wrote another movie, something that Hayden Christensen starred in, about amnesia or something like that. Not a real proven writer. I don't have a problem with that. But the problem that I have is I think it's great when you give somebody that doesn't have a name or made something of himself, you give them a shot to give them a story like Obi-Wan and be like, dude, this could make or break you, but here you go. Let it run. Now, I'm going to go way in left field right here.
Wait, you sure you want to go in left field?
I may go to right.
Don't you?
I know I'm not going center. I can tell you right now, I'm not going down the middle.
It's always best to go in the middle.
But here's the thing.
But never from behind.
there's a few things that I love in life that entertain me. Star Wars is number one on that list. Number two on that list is Disney. Disney itself. I like my kids grew up on Disney. I love Disneyland. That's probably the big thing. I follow Disney. The third thing on that list is NFL football, Raiders. And if anybody follows the NFL or knows anything about Raider history, it's reminding me of Star Wars right now and Lucasfilms, because it reminds me back in the day when the late great Al Davis kind of ran the team down, and nobody wanted to go coach for him, and he would hire these nobodies because they're the only ones that would take the job. That's what it's starting to feel like to me here.
Didn't he have diamonds in his little chain
glasses
that hold up the glasses?
Oh, yeah. Around his glasses. That boy was bling before bling. Okay.
Yeah. Black and silver.
But it really goes hand in hand in the way that I feel, because he developed a reputation for himself that nobody wanted to take the chance. No great coaches, none of the great prospects in the NFL wanted to come and be a part of this organization because of his reputation of not giving you control, not giving you creative control as a coach and no play caller. He had his own beliefs, his own systems, and that's what Kathleen Kennedy has really developed here. Like, there's no trust factor there. There's been so many people that started projects. What is the two gentlemen that did Game of Thrones, and then Netflix gave them a big old deal?
I don't know those kind of names.
They were rumored. They were doing the High Order, which we're going to get into in a minute. But they are the ones that were working on this High Order project before there was a High Order project, right? And they went to Netflix because the money there was. And I understand there was creative control problems, because you don't want to hire somebody to develop a trilogy for you if you're going to have them developing something else for a competitor.
Yeah.
But again, to me, that's an easy way out. The same way it was an easy way out that they moved Obi-Wan to 2022 because of the coronavirus. That's not the problem. The problem here is you're not getting along with the storytellers you're bringing in, and it's a problem. It's a problem.
So what are they going to push back Mandalorian and Clone Wars and everything else?
No, Mandalorian's right on. See, now they got the right people on the Mandalorian though.
Yeah.
So that the Mandalorian's not the issue moving forward. Like, Obi-Wan has this unproven writer. He did write some movies, but he's never wrote a TV series before. That's the writer that's trying to fix this mess. Now, I will say, there's a lot of things that have already been put in place here. There's a lot of writing that's already been done. I'm sure the main story that they had for the movie has already been broken up into many segments, and now you're just turning those into stories. And I disagree with a lot of people that I've listened to saying that, well, because this guy has never wrote a TV series before, he's not. No, all he's doing is writing stories, ladies and gentlemen, right? Somebody just has to, as long as, there's multiple people on this job, right? They're framing things out. Here's season 1. This is the content we want. Make I don't know. The Mandalorian was 8 episodes. I'd like to see this go to about 10 to 11 episodes. Frame it out. And the guy's a writer. I'm sure he could write dialogue and write story. I think there's too much, just because he hasn't wrote a TV series.
Right.
Doesn't mean he can't write. The guy's a writer, so let him write. And the story pretty much is already there. He's just got to really put in dialogue and, and we don't know his fandom. Maybe he knows a lot about Star Wars. Maybe he grew up just like all of us did, and he's a huge Star Wars fan. He's going to come and nail it the way that Claudia Gray did. Nobody expected Claudia Gray to write that book, Lost Stars. That is a Lost Stars, by the way, is not even an adult driven book. It's more for teens.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's one of the most popular Star Wars books that ever come out. Yeah, junior reading, and it's a good read. It's beyond, like, when I read it and I heard that, I'm like, I kind of don't want my teen. I mean, it's not like graphic or anything in Star Wars, but I was like, man, it's a pretty deep love story. But it's a great story, and then she made a name for herself in the Star Wars universe. So, shout out Claudia Gray. So why does it have to be such a big issue? So for me, Obi-Wan is starting to scare me that it's going to get a lot of backlash, bad prep bad press, bad social media justice warriors tearing this thing apart because of all the news that's already come out, and in the people that want to ride on that Disney sucks wagon, and just judge it based off that. You know what I'm talking about. It's in our everyday life, by the way.
Yeah.
This is not just Star Wars. It's in everything. So
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I'm worried though. I will be, and usually I am the optimist. I am the positive thinker. I'll be honest, for the first time, because it's starting to have those feels where they can't make up their mind and pick one route to go and stick to it. I'm starting to get worried that when you have too many hands in the cookie jar, you're diluting the cookies.
No doubt, but I mean, after the first season, if they don't like them, they can can them.
True, but that's the benefit
And that's
of having a
happened.
TV series. But
Yeah.
again, the problem that most people have with the sequels is the continuity. It's the continuity, right? It's the different writers, it's the different vision, the way that people write. And if you start changing, like they already have, they're changing a whole bunch of people here.
Mm-hmm.
You're already diluting the story. This great story that you said you had, this great script that you had for a movie, that you tried to turn into a TV series once, twice. Now we're going to the third round on a TV series with a whole different writer, a whole different way of writing dialogue. Your story's already now. Luckily, no one has their hands on the story except nothing's been leaked, so at least we don't know. But it went from being told there's this great script, that's now just they're changing it all. Like why?
Yeah, I wonder how. So the Kenobi, the book, is that canon or not?
There's 2 Kenobi stories. So,
Okay.
Is it the one where he fights the dragon type creature on top of the mountain?
Well,
And he meets the rancher woman.
yes, there's a rancher woman.
Okay, yeah,
And
that's
then the
canon.
rancher guy that has a crush on the rancher woman, but the rancher woman has a crush on Kenobi.
Yes,
Okay.
That's
and
canon.
okay, that's canon. So what's the other Obi book?
probably. I think there's a legend one that tells another story, but that one's more.
Huh.
That's the newer Kenobi one.
Okay.
So I hope, and they got 2 years to figure this out and fix it. Now, here's the
Yeah.
biggest problem that I have. Because this information has got out and everybody knows there's a new writer, if they don't, at least regardless of who this guy is, what he could do, if they don't at least if they fire this guy, I would just dump the whole project, dude. And by the way, they have the same problem with Cassian of Endor, which they've been trying. That was not rumored. That was already been talked about. That was supposed to be the second TV series we got after The Mandalorian,
Right.
and they're having the same problems with that one. They brought in Tony Gilroy, the same one that fixed Rogue One. They brought him in to try to right the ship to Cassian Andor, and that one's been pushed back. We've already got Mandalorian season 1. We're getting Mandalorian season 2 before we see any of those other developments.
That's crazy.
Doesn't make any sense.
Why don't you'd think that they would take a lesson from Mandalorian, like Favreau and David and all those guys, and just poured it over, Like, you guys are so successful here, come co-write this.
We are going to get a new Rebels sequel
Ooh,
before we even get that.
that'd be awesome.
And again, I mean, we got to get into that because I would get into what I'm hoping to get out of that cartoon
Rebels
series,
sequel, do you
but-
mean the TV series sequel or movie?
No, we're talking the Rebels. Did you see the Rebels cartoon?
Nope.
Good storytelling.
I haven't seen any
where
Star Wars
That's where they
cartoons.
introduced Thrawn. And
Nice.
It's the story of the Clone Wars. Pretty much after the Clone Wars was over, the Jedi are gone,
Yep.
and they find Kanan. Have you read the book Kanan?
Nope.
Well, it's more of a comic book about Kanan, but when they first introduce Kanan, he's running from, basically he's hiding that fact that he's a Jedi. Basically, he was a Padawan. He never made master, but he ends up with a Twi'lek that is related to, man, I'm going to butcher this, dude, because I didn't study, but it's a good stuff. I will talk to you. We'll bring it.
Wait, is
We
that the
gotta talk
dude
about it.
that ends up fighting Vader on the tree, in the trees?
No.
Okay.
But it's going to be like, well, we're going to get into that because that's part of what I want to talk about next week as we talk about what they're doing with the Mandalorian,
Cool.
and the Yodalorian, and Ahsoka Tano. Nice, yeah, dude. I'm excited to see it, but I'm like, where are you guys taking this story, man? Like, you guys, like, you already have.
Hey, you're the one that always preaches about how it's all art, and you have to appreciate where they're taking it. And
oh, dude, I'm a big dude. Yeah, dude, I'm banging the table right now for that. But, dude, like, we're gonna get into that deep next week. That's gonna be a deep talk next week. So, because I do want the artist, and I love the Mandalorian, and I love the fact that there's a baby Yoda. I love all of that, but there is already some questions that I have about all of that too. So
I want to know where the heck he came from. That's all I want to know.
Did you find the video for the next segment?
Oh yeah, I've already got it pulled up in the background.
Cool. So before we do, let's jump in the chat. See who's here.
See My Way One says, "Hey Whistler, hey Jason, old school Star Wars guy here."
Yeah,
us too.
Yep.
Us too.
You're talking OTs right here.
Yeah. Don't know what that is. Sunday, Monday, happy days. Says See My One.
Yeah.
Whistler, where's the background music tonight? You can't hear what's in the background? It's just a cantina. Is it light? Is it too light?
Maybe for them. We're talking a lot too.
That's true. It's just soft background music anyway. It's just Mos Eisley Marketplace and Cantina Trap Remix. Brandy Jeffries. Hey, I caught one of your live streams the other day. Welcome. Thank you for joining.
Welcome, Brandy.
NFL Steelers, Jason, LOL. Guess who that's from? I wonder. Agent Natasha. When I was in high school, I was a Raiders. I'm not reading that. When I was in high school, let me get my words. Actually, it'll be a lot easier to follow. When I was in high school, I was a Raiders fan. I had a pair of men's boxer shorts with a top band rolled down. Don't judge. I was a cool high school chick. LOL. At Whistler.
Hey, Shane, you know, your Steelers. You know, I know it's my fault because I brought up the NFL reference when he had to come and throw the Steelers in there, but that's all right.
Agent. Steelers all the way, says See My Way One. Okay, go to my links. Oh, and I guess I should.
I didn't catch you when you were reading it. You were talking about Agent Z% or Raider boxer shorts.
Oh yeah, she's got in high school. She's had some Raider boxer shorts, and she'd roll the top down.
She was trying to be Chola.
Yeah, exactly. High Jedi characters presentation.
What happened?
I have the our clip that we're gonna go over ready for join the discussion.
Join the conversation.
Join the conversation. It's not a trap.
I know. I just looked up right now, and I'm like, I see Lacey. So before we get started, we want to give a big shout out to Star Wars News Net, who are giving us the clips for this. I've been following these guys for over a year. If you guys remember on Independently Blind, I would take my walk. This is what I would listen to. I really enjoy listening to their banter back and forth and their deep conversation. So if you guys want to check out Star Wars News Net and the Rebel Resistant podcast that they play right on YouTube, the description, you got the link down below with this too.
Link is in the description below.
The link is the description below.
And being on the dark side, I will admit fully that I stole and downloaded the clip. So they did not actually give it to Jason.
Right. Well, we didn't ask permission, but as we're joining the conversation. This is a conversation they had. And the reason that we did what we did is because we're blind. Throwing the blind card out there. But they're giving us great audio and great description of these characters we're going to go over in this next segment. So as we start the next segment, we're going to be talking about the High Republic, which is awesome. Disney's new Well, it first was released to be the next trilogy that goes back way before the Clone Wars, the First Jedi Order, with the Republic, and it's supposed to be a trilogy. I don't know if it's going to end up being a TV series at this point or how they're going to do this. But in this particular video that they made, they're going over some of the new characters. I know there's going to be some novels coming out to set up these characters, which is going to be cool.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun. So we're going to go and we're going to listen to these new characters and give our opinions about these new characters that are being released for the High Republic.
And what I did under the legality of Fair Use Act is I took, I think, 4%. It's all chopped up. So all I did was cut out the dude saying the names of the characters, and then Lacey and the other guy, James, talks a little bit how they look like. So that's what we're going to get, is just the audio of who they are, what they look like. And I believe I got the pictures on screen as well, but we'll see. So whenever you want me to go, just...
Yeah, so just real quick, again, this segment is called Joining the Conversation. Every single week, we are going to find other podcasts, other YouTube creators for Star Wars, and something that catches our fancy, something that they're talking about that we want to join the conversation with them. We will pull some audio or video and join the conversation to their story. And this week, it's Star Wars Newsnet.
Chris, and Avar is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. She always tries to see the good in people and situations and never puts herself first. She is invigorated about life on the frontier and the challenges it brings, and is an inspiration for those who work with her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. Avar Chris is the best of the best.
That's a big lightsaber.
It's a lot of gold, I gotta say. So she's got blonde hair, gold robes, kind of a goldish hilt, and then gold and white is what I'm getting, which is interesting because if you look at the title of Star Wars The High Republic and like all the kind of marketing around it, it's all gold and white and like Art Deco and stuff. So that's really cool. I mean, she sounds like the perfect hero, right? Like the shining example of what Jedi should be. The thing that sticks out to me is that it says that she's invigorated about her life on the frontier.
But next we have non-human character. We have
Oops. Okay.
Yeah, got to pause it right there. So what do you think about Xandar?
Xandar?
Is that the name? Did I miss?
No, it's like, it's Asar Chris or something like that.
Asar Chris. There you go. I think that's the next one. Asar Chris.
It's hard to give these characters that have not been explored yet, it's hard not to relate them to other characters. For example, I hear Asar and I think Obi-Wan.
I agree. Like this would be like Obi-Wan's mom. Like we don't know where Obi-Wan came from, right? Like this would be his
her
mom to me, but she also sounds hot. I really like she kind of sounds like that protector right up my alley, the one that's, you know, the kind of girl that I like. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you've seen any
pure-hearted
artist renditions of any Star Wars characters, they don't make them ugly, people. They're all hot.
Pure
Kyrie.
Jedi loyalist. They also said she's the best of the best, right? So this is they already set her up to basically be
the leader.
The Anakin, the Luke, as far as the Jedi though, this is you know, you're talking right here. You're talking from a pure Jedi, like one that's out there that has all the skills, has great lightsaber skills, one with the Force, all that good stuff. So I'm excited to see what they do with this character and how they, like, especially in the books. So I can't wait for the first book to come out because I want to see how powerful. Because it's one thing to be the best of the best, but how powerful are you?
I want to see her flip some dark side dude inside out. That would be the best of the best.
And by the way, I like the gold and white theme. I think they're playing off it really well. It's a very clean royal look. And you're talking about the High Republic. They went from the Jedi that took out the Sith to taking their seats up with basically politics. So the gold and white fits really well, the color scheme.
Very Romanesque.
Very
Greek
Romanesque.
Mythology, gods.
Yes,
So-
that's what it would fit, right? This is going to be the mythology of the Jedi.
Mhm.
This is where people are really going to understand what the Jedi are at this point. So this would be the methodical, for Luke, this would be Orion and Achilles,
Yeah.
right, and Zeus. That's what these guys are. These guys are the ones that are creating the wills too, by the way, right?
Yep.
Beginning of the wills. So this is pretty cool stuff.
On to the next one.
Twi'lek, or Twi'lek, however you want to
Twi'lek.
pronounce that. This is Loden Greatstorm.
This is the one I was telling you about the name.
He even started laughing. Like, these guys are great, man. I really encourage you guys to go sub up Star Wars New Net and the Rebel Resistant podcast.
Loden Greatstorm. And you got to watch this particular episode. Link is in the description box below, because they really do go off on this little tangent about names and Star Wars names, and like the Star Wars name generator, like some kind of game you would see on Facebook profile or something. It's awesome.
It looks like Loden here has a white lightsaber.
Yeah. Yep.
Considered to be one of the best teachers in the Jedi Order, strong and wise with a good sense of humor. Loden, there you go, see? Loden looks at every moment as a learning experience, always trying to better himself and those around him, especially his Padawans.
Again, white and gold, very regal. His robes are way too long in this concept art. How is he supposed to get around anywhere? The other thing I noticed is on the front of his kind of gown, it's like not I forget what they call it. It's the thing that hangs down in the front.
A
part
sash.
Of it. Is it a sash? Is that what it is?
A sash.
Okay.
That's what I would have called it too.
Sash Rendar.
On the sash are actually the logos from the High Republic logo. Like the little artistic detail is what's on the front of his sash.
Next.
Loden.
Now, you tell me that doesn't sound like Odin.
Well, Loden Greatstorm. Yeah.
Right. So this guy is going to be a guy that has tremendous
mentor?
power. Yeah, right. I think this is going to be the guy that has probably this incredible power, this incredible skill, but he has the most control. He's a teacher. So he's going to be teaching more of the peace thing. So when Lacey, the great Lacey here, when she said, I think his robes are too long, I think he's one of the ones that doesn't resort to violence a lot. You know what I mean? That's what it kind of told me right away. Visually.
When I heard that, his description of that, I immediately thought some kind of Zen Buddhist master.
Yeah. And yes, he has a lightsaber, and I'm sure there's a force-driven Jedi way to make room to run, jump, and slash with that lightsaber if he needs to. But he's going to be Loden the Wise, right? He's going to be that guy.
Exactly. Loden the Wise.
Yeah, he's going to really teach, and he's going to just kind of be that one that's teaching you the peace first. No violence. We don't kill. We don't use force that way. So but again, these names, it goes back to what you said, right? The Greek mythology gods of the Jedi. And I can't. I'm gonna have to next week. We'll try to get our best ability to see what these logos are that she's talking about on the sash.
Yeah,
because
that
I'm
would
curious.
be cool.
I'm really curious to see. We're gonna have. This is again, guys. Two blind guys that are breaking this down. We rely on people like
Star
Wars Newsnet to give us some great audio and detail. So hopefully someone breaks it down.
We can do it just fine. I can tell you exactly what the logo looks like.
It's not in Braille yet, dude. What are you talking about?
It's a big, giant golden saber streaking up between two planets on either side of it. Picture that. Here we go. Next character.
If you're right, that'd be awesome.
Stick that saber between your planets.
We have now, just looking at the picture, this is going to be like the sassy punk rocker with the
I like it already.
1980s haircut pop
Yeah.
star. This is Keeve Trennis. Not tennis. Trennis. Keeve Trennis. And Keeve is a young firebrand Jedi. There you go. Firebrand Jedi, believed to have a great future ahead of her, if only she would believe it herself. Quick-witted and more impulsive than she should be, Keeve has only been a Jedi Knight for a few weeks, and is a little starstruck around Avar, knowing many of the great things Chris has done in the past. She is determined to prove herself to Avar and the other legendary Jedi stationed on Starlight Beacon. Ooh, did we know that before? Starlight Beacon?
Maybe
Yes.
that's the frontier, like space frontier.
But
That's the
Space
space
station.
station.
First, she must learn to trust in herself as much as she trusts in the Force. So I'm getting like early Ahsoka vibes from this character.
I love her double-sided green saber.
That is cool. That is cool. Next, we.
So another female that can double saber it. Nice. Okay.
Keanu Reeves
Yeah, right.
blended into Kiev. Dude, this is gonna be if I had to pick and they went a totally different. They said Ahsoka. No, this one has a little bit more punk to her. I'm gonna have to go with the Anakin of this story. The one that wants to show how badass that she is to the point where she's going to break some Jedi code to do it.
Yeah, I could see that. I also
Where
see
Ahsoka stuck to it.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was her belief in the foundation of what she thought the Jedi was that had her leave the Order to begin with. This one seems more like the rebel, right? Anakin was a rebel. He flirted so much with the dark side, and he was being manipulated. Yeah.
Well, the difference between that and this chick here is Anakin was always questioning Obi-Wan, and it just said here that she looks up and wants to appease Asar. So I think there's going to be a bond and a connection between those two that really prevents this Kiev chick from going beyond those bounds like Anakin did.
Right. But I like the punk rock look. I like the fact that she's probably going to be the one that's going to give us the most saber action. And
yeah.
To boot, she's got the double-bladed Darth Maul.
That's badass.
Lightsaber, but it's green. So,
I can forgive it.
Move on to Gaston. I'm sorry, Stellan Gios.
Oh, he's so hot.
Stellan is an optimistic and well-respected Jedi Master. Stellan came up through the Order with Avar Kriss, and although they are often on different assignments for the Jedi or the Republic, when the two work together, they are a powerhouse team of two noble heroes in action. And enter the shippers. Strong in the Force and a natural teacher, Stellan is currently stationed at one of the Jedi Temple outposts on the distant planet of Karagon Viner. All right, guys, so Stellan Gios, this is kind of like, to me, it looks like Gaston from Beauty and the Beast. He's got a crossguard saber, but the blades, the crossguard is like metal. It's not part of the blade. He's got a holster, looks like, for a blaster, potentially. What do you guys make of Stellan? Last one here, the name?
Gaston.
Gaston.
I really don't have much on him. Like, well, I'm getting like
I'm trying to read in between the lines.
Yeah, exactly.
When I think of Gaston, I think, like they said, like this great large man of stature with a big chin and just kind of into himself. But he's also very optimistic and noble.
Mm-hmm.
Again, his lightsaber has the metal crossing guard, so it's going to make it look more like a sword.
Yeah.
So again, think of, for me, that brought me to Excalibur. It brought me back to the Greek, Roman sword fighting, mythology. And then when they talked about him and Ozar being the perfect combination, I really start to think of the love interest. Yep. And that they potentially could be the spawning agents of some other either Jedi or dark user.
And I think in the full version of this video, they do mention that. I don't know if they mention it about Asar and this guy, but they do talk about how this order, James actually mentions it and says, I wonder if they, knocked hilts or something. I can't remember what he said. That's my words. And then you go into the prequels where they're like, oh, yeah, this is why you can't do it, because these 5 people here ruined it for everyone.
Right.
It reminds me of Ernest. Vernesta Vern Ruo. Vern is a newly minted Jedi Knight. Vernestra Mirialin was Padawan to Stellan Gios. So, no longer Padawan. She works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order. more so than most others her age. At 16, she is one of the youngest knights in a generation. She struggles to fit in with the adults while also setting a good example for younger Jedi. I don't know what species she is.
She's green.
Yeah, she's green.
She looks like Gamora, actually.
So I was gonna say, I was like Gamora.
Yeah,
she's got
that's
like
a good
brown, purplish hair.
Purple hair. She's got a blue lightsaber. Pretty looks like a standard lightsaber there.
She's got a cool outfit. Again, the logo's all the same. Each of these characters are wearing white and gold and brown.
And that's it.
Okay.
I think she's still on screen. The character that they're talking about. I'm not sure. But
Zoom up.
if so, I'll just leave it on there while we talk about it.
Nope, negative. It's the cast.
Okay. Get rid of that. So, Vernesta. That's kind of a cool name, Vernesta.
I think the name is deceiving here. I think the name is telling us more when you break it down from you mix it.
What do you mean?
So
Mix
when
what?
They say when they say Burnist, I think they want
Ernest,
right? Like Ernest goes to camp. You know that dorky, because she seems to be more brain than brawn.
Okay.
That's what I'm getting out of it. She's dedicated to the Jedi Order. She's an alien species.
Mm-hmm.
So was the Twi'lek, by the way. But this one, just the fact that she's green. Not saying she's obviously I can't see her, but she's not a Yoda type character by all means.
Well, I actually have. I'll pull up the thumbnail of just her. Oh wait, no, I sent it to you and you said it wasn't her, so never mind.
Right. So for me, I really start to think she's going to be the thinker,
Yeah.
the realist, the person. She was trained by a noble, optimistic master Jedi. I really think she's going to be using more of her abilities with the Force than her lightsaber.
Yeah.
She's finding it hard. Like when you hear, the first one, I'm making the names mixed up already in my head. The BA of the group, she's the ultimate Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
The next one is more of the teacher, Yoda-esque in a way, trying to hold to the Jedi Order. The other one is this punk rock rebel that's going to be real abrasive. Then the other one is the counterpart to the first one. So basically, like every single one of them had some major skill, but this one they particularly said that she's having a hard time fitting in, and they throw you off with her age. And I get that that's part of it, but how did she get to be so young and have the title of Jedi?
Exactly.
Jedi Knight. So I think it's because of her calmness and her ability to use Force powers more than, so she's more Force driven than fight. That makes sense?
Yep. I completely agree. They need that. That in itself has the story of balance. Kind of like the idea of our show, that whole balance. And each one of those characters can play off of each other and provide a certain level of balance, decision making, whatever it may be.
So I think this is the perfect setup. I'm really, so the idea is they're putting out a book. So we'll be able to they're going to do some character building.
Yeah.
Before they actually put out, which I think is absolutely smart. See, like they know what they're doing. They're just having a hard time executing.
Hmm.
So hopefully, they've already had some setbacks. So they're going to the books. I don't know who's writing the books yet. I'm hoping it's someone like Claudia Gray. Just hoping. But we'll have to wait and see. But I really like the fact that this sounds, like you said it earlier, Darth one, Greek mythology-esque.
They got to build that. They have to build this Jedi archetype for the new stuff to build off of. We already got prequel, original, and sequels, so now you have to expand, and the only way to go is to tell the history, really.
And take your mind there. Take your mind of what we've seen over our lifetime, where going backwards a little bit, taking it from the prequels to the original trilogies to the sequels, and everything that we've learned and how the power has grown, but it had to start somewhere.
Exactly.
A lot of the super diehard legends, which I'm not the legends guy. I haven't got into a lot of the legend stuff, but I do listen to the stories as far as what people talk about. So I know a bit about the Old Republic as far as characters, the Jedi and Sith Wars, the World of Two, those types of things. But this is what happened after that.
Yeah.
This is the High Republic. This is the Republic at its highest glory, and the Jedi Order are part of that. So this is what basically, to me, you have to set up basically where they went wrong.
That's actually what what's his name? James was saying. And we mentioned earlier about how, they started boinking and knocking boots and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That's where it really starts.
And it starts to take it a whole nother direction because you see Yoda and you see Yoda's wisdom, and Yoda's supposed to be a part of this, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I didn't understand, unless this is before Yoda.
No, this is they said it's just before the prequels. So he would still be 200-300 years old.
Well, yeah. So we're trying to figure out how they're going to develop Yoda, because we go back to the Mandalorian. The Yodalorian, the baby Yoda, is 50 years old. He's a baby. So, how are they going to introduce Yoda to this world, right? Is he going to be entering in because, they already talked about Azar, being basically the ultimate weapon.
Right.
But as we know it, I think this is where Yoda comes in and kind of has that full range of power, knowledge, and skill.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see how that all binds together and plays. Is he already sitting on the council? I doubt it. I think they even mentioned before, a few months ago, I heard that he's a Jedi Knight at this point. I don't know if he's even a master. So I really, really want to see that.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. So again, this builds up the mythology of the Jedi Order, not so much the Jedi. Mm-hmm. That comes in the results of the Old Republic. This is more Jedi Order Jedi, right? How they took it so serious and got lost into politics and their ways that they didn't see what was happening in front of them and how it all fell apart. But you're not going to see that right away. You're going to see this glory of the Jedi and how they handled it in a peaceful way and only used force when they had to. So it's, how much after the Jedi Sith War this is, I don't know. They have to have a protagonist, right? So maybe maybe it is Bane here.
That'd be awesome. This couldn't have Bane in this series.
Because he started the Rule of Two. So
yeah, it's way before.
Have to track. This is where Legends allude.
Sith Wars.
This is where Legends stories elude me, and I don't know. I can't give you the. But they're not going to necessarily, because it's Legends. They're not necessarily going to follow that timeline. Remember
that too. Yeah.
So they can make Bane into that part. That they could bring him into this story. But if they're going to do the Old Republic, they may save that for him. But we'll see, because you can't necessarily introduce the Rule of Two here. It's already had to be established. So it'll be interesting. There has to be a protagonist, and it's got to be a Darth.
Yes.
Setup. It has to. Has to be. You would think they could blow us away, but we'll see. Because the Jedi were brought in to help to bring order to the galaxy.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot going on, and we'll see this process develop. But interesting, very interesting, and excited. We'll definitely be talking more about this as we get more information. I definitely want to look more into it myself when it comes to the symbols on the sash.
Yeah.
More of the backstory, and kind of get some more information about when they plan on releasing these novels. I'm hoping in late 2020 or 2021 we'll start getting maybe a novel.
I'd say 2021 for sure. Mid 2021.
Yeah, I think 2021 is the timeline.
Yeah.
The fact that they got these characters already, hopefully sooner, but we'll see. They're going to have to fill the gap in December. And I know we're going to get the Mandalorian early, probably around September, October, or later September. But that's just going to give us the wee bit of it. right?
Right.
Like we're gonna need something for December. So hopefully they got to start pumping out novels. And they're gonna start building out this world. So
Yep. And thank you, Willie Rosado, for coming in. Much appreciated.
thank you, Willie.
I wanted to address that before I forgot.
What else? What else we got going on in the chat? Anything?
No, that's it.
I am really, really missing my boy in darkness. And I'm like,
I know.
so if you watch the playback on this dude, you're missed.
Get in touch.
And you're being talked about. And you're noticed that you're not around. So know that, Gold Leader. We're looking for you.
Red 10.
Yeah. So as we develop the show, we start to really build it out and get better in the flow and how we're delivering this content. We want you around, dude. We want you a part of it. So,
For sure.
yeah. With that said, Agent Z, thank you for being here. Greg, thank you for being here. See it my way. Mr. Shane Cubot himself, thank you for being here. Thank you, Willie, for stopping in. Brandy was here. Who else did I miss?
Blind Guy Show.
I said Greg. I talked about Greg. Yeah.
Beyond Sight was here.
Beyond Sight was here. My boy Beyond Sight. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep bopping it. Get us some Star Wars. We need some Star Wars bop it clips that we could play.
I know. Come on, man.
Dude, I'm down. Dude, Beyond Sight. Seriously. You start doing some Star Wars bop it content. We'll air it on the show. We'll make it a segment just for you, my friend. We're a show of the people. So, any final words, Whistler?
Nah, blah, back.
Didn't sound like words to me, but what I like to say, the description box below are the links to the Blind Jedi. That's where the next show will be held. So please go down to the description box, hit the Blind Jedi, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you're notified when the shows come out. Eventually, we'll be giving midweek updates and things like that as the Star Wars news start to pick up. But as of right now, it'll be every Saturday at 7:05 on the Blind Jedi channel.
Nice.
Make sure you go there.
Cool.
This has been the pilot episode of The Darth Jedi. And as always, may the Force be with you.
At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me.
The Force will be with you.
At last we will have revenge.
Obi-Wan never told you. So be it.